In yesterday's video, where I talked about the 3 keys to unlocking the doors to have everything in life that you could ever want, I talked about the second key being to create your life. And I said then today I was going to focus on the 4 steps in the process of creating your life. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. But first, this is Non-Monogamous Mark coming to you from my home in Ventura, California. I am the co-founder and the chief executive officer of ECNM Lifestyles Association. ECNM Lifestyles Association stands for Ethical and Consensual Non-Monogamous. 21% of the people, it's estimated, but studies have been done and what have you, and it's estimated that 21% of all couples in America are ethically and consensually non-monogamous, either occasionally or regularly throughout the course of a year. They could be your brother, your sister, your mom and dad. They could be your son or daughter. They could be the people next to you at church. They could be the people you work with or your neighbors. But the thing is that most of these people are the same place that gays were 40 years ago, and that's in the closet, and they're there for all the same reasons. And so what I strive to do is to help to exercise and stretch people's mental muscles so that the ECNM lifestyles become something that people no longer have to live in the closet about. But for today, though, we're going to be talking about creating your life. Because, see, when you choose an ECNM life, it is something that's an intentional choice. It's something that you end up deciding that, yes, this is what I want to create, because it's totally not what most of us are taught when we see relationships modeled in our society, and it's all about monogamy. I know it certainly was all about monogamy for me, and I didn't know there were any other choices, but there are a lot of other choices. And your ECNM lifestyle will help you to explore and open your mind up to all of those choices. And so about this idea then of creating your own life. Well, there are 4 things that it's very important. It's 4 steps, I guess, that all there is 4 simple steps to creating your life. And so the first step of those 4 steps is awareness. You need to be aware of where you're at. Now, things from your past, whether it be a moment ago, a week ago, a day ago, a year ago, or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, things of your past have no bearing on where you're at this moment unless you drag them along with you. And so that's the first thing to understand. It's just like the GPS system that you use in your car. You know, the only 2 things that matter are where you're at and where you're going. And of course, then where you're at, if you don't have any gas because you didn't stop at the gas station a day or 2 or 3 or 4 days ago, then that certainly makes a difference on where you're at today and where you're going. But you can still get there where you're going. All that matters is where you're at and where you're going. The past, things that happened in the past, even if you run out of gas, you can make corrections for all of that. As long as you know where you're at and you keep heading forward to where you're going, and you don't then drag your past into the current day with you. And so your awareness starts with knowing where you're at. Second thing your awareness starts is about knowing where you're going and what you want. And our wants are created in us by things oftentimes that we find that's negative in our life. And then that's there to show us things that we don't want. Like both myself and my partners, we've learned through our lives the things that we do want in a relationship by knowing what we didn't want in the past in relationships. And so it's the same thing with the many other things in life, whether it be your financial world or your health and fitness. I know that I want good organic food and nutritious and healthy food because I spent many years abusing my body and just getting fat, and that's not the direction I wanted to go in. And so when I started to decide to wanted to create my life, I wanted to create a healthy, fit body. And so that's what I'm working on. And so then whether it be your finances, your health and fitness, or whether it be your relationships, relationships, do you spend all your time with people that are kind of at the same level in life that you are? I heard an interesting concept the other day that you should spend 33% of your time with people who are at your level, 33% of the time with people who are below your level in society, and 33% of your time with people that are like 20 years ahead of where you're at. because that's how we keep balancing out our life and keep growing our life. And so whether it be then your awareness and what you want and what you like and you don't like with your relationships, and then also your love life and your sex life, it all comes together. And again, you don't have to drag your past with you. Just take a look at where you're at today and then know where you want to go. So then that's the first thing with creating your life, is to be aware. The second point is to be intentional. You know, how many of us just simply go through this? In fact, this is how, for many years, my physical body just kind of went to pot. And because I wasn't intentional. And I just kind of roamed through life on default. You know, on autopilot. And how many of you are the same way? And perhaps then, maybe you are even living your life for someone else. Well, snap out of it, you know, and learn to start living your life for you. Not for a child or for a boyfriend or girlfriend or a spouse or a parent, but live your life for you and decide that you're going to be intentional about creating your life. And then the third step then is to design your life. Start to understand what your wants are, and start to understand where you're at and where you're going. And so you're being aware and you're being intentional, and then you design your life and you say, well, this is what I want, and write some things down. That's what I started to do. And so you start to write down what you really want in your life. You know, do you want to make $1 million a year? I do. You know, is it possible? Absolutely. Doesn't matter where you're at, it's where you're going. And the mentors, the people you hang out with, I had to kind of up my game with the people I was hanging out with. And now I hang out with my mentors. They're people who make millions of dollars a year. And so I hang out with them and I learn from them, and I know it's just a matter of time, and I'll be there too. And so what it is that you want in life, start to design that in your life and allow yourself to have those dreams instead of just squelching those dreams in negativity. But stay positive and know that you have an abundant life with an abundant number of possibilities, limitless possibilities. So then the last thing is, after you've gone ahead and become aware and all the things I said about that, and then you have decided that you're going to be intentional about your life and not just let it flow, so to speak. And then after that, you've designed your life so that you really do have a clear path that you want to go and where you want to go. Then the last thing to do is to create your life. And in creating your life, we have a GPS that is built into our own internal lives. And our GPS is our thoughts, our words that we speak, and how we feel. And if your life is, which is what it's meant to be, is pure positive energy. Your body and everything about you is meant to be pure positive energy. And if you are putting that out through your thoughts, through your words, and also through your feelings, your emotions, if that's what you're putting out, then you're headed somewhere. You're headed in somewhere in life to get those things in life you want. But when you have disharmony, where maybe you have thoughts that are positive, but your emotions aren't so hot, or your words that come out of your mouth. For a while, when I was making a transition in my life, mentally I was starting to upgrade myself. But then my words, for so long, I had so much momentum coming out of my words as being a judgmental, critical, pious, self-righteous Christian. I would condemn and criticize people out of my mouth for things that it wasn't no longer true about myself. I would say, well, you shouldn't be having sex with your girlfriend. You're not married. Well, but then I'd think in my head, well, why do I say that? Because that's no longer what I believe. And so it takes a while to transition. Allow yourself to go through those transitions and to make those mistakes, but then where you start to become that person of pure positive energy so that you're moving forward. Because after all, who wants to, if you attract people to you when you're in a place of negativity, anywhere, whether your words are negative, your thoughts are negative, or your feelings are negative, well, think about the people you attract to you then, chances are that they have that same negative energy level. And that's not what we really want, is it? And so you start to create your life from the place of having pure positive energy instead of just floating along through life. And then that's how you end up creating your life once you get to that place of having pure positive energy, because you decide what your words are coming out of your mind or out of your mouth. You decide what the thoughts are in your head. You control that. And you then wake up in the morning and you decide that it's going to be a great day. It's going to be the best day of your life. Why do you want today to be anything but the best day of your life? You know, why wake up in the morning if you're not going to have the best day of your life? And you get to create that world and that environment for yourself. So thanks a lot, and if you want to know more about me, Non-Monogamous Mark, or our ECNM Lifestyles Association, then go ahead and click on that link. Thanks a lot.